Yeah, rise up, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, kings and queens, friends, frenemies, and you agents. My name is Brother Marley. This is the Senegal One channel, and today we're doing a very deep dive kind of conversation today. I don't usually do these kind of videos, so let me just give you a little bit of context to what we're talking about. So, a little while back, I did a video about a sister who had passed away over in Ghana. Then one of the comments I get is from someone who's from Ghana, who says that, I'm in Ghana, I can tell you more about what happened than what's in the video. So I thought, okay, cool, well, let's talk and let's do like a part two, right? So I contacted the sister, see, this is part two, no problem. Turns out she was in Senegal first before she went to Ghana. So we start the interview, and it's your normal bog standard kind of like interview where we just talk about how you're doing, what's going on with you, how was your transition over from the United States. And this sister goes on to tell about how bad a time she's had, how she's been scammed by someone over here in Senegal, and she talks about how they scammed her. So I'm going to play that to you. So I'm going to play it to you, right? Now, I got to tell you that this was all kind of just done lastminute.com. It was done at the last second. So I recorded it on my phone. The first half, I only recorded the audio. And then the second half, I recorded audio visual. So you get to see her in the second half. The first half, you'll be able to hear the interview, but you won't be able to see anything. Plus, I've got janky African internet. She's in Ghana, she has janky African internet. So even the quality of the sound isn't good. I'm trying to edit it out and clean it up as best I could so you could hear what's being said at the point she's making. I suggest that you listen closely because she gives you a lot of good information about what not to do when coming over to Africa. The idea of putting your life and the life of your loved ones in the word of a stranger you've never met before, that kind of stuff. At the end of the interview, I'll come back and we'll talk about things you need to know when you come over here. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. It's so much better to hear information from people who live in the locality rather than just from hearsay and so on and so forth. So my question to you, my first question would be, whereabouts in Ghana are you and how far are you from where our sister Naomi lived?
Me and my family lives in Cape Coast, Ghana, Central Region. Mm-hmm. And as far as with Naomi, we don't know exactly the location where she stayed. We did meet her in Cape Coast. It's been told several different places where she was at. Some of the places I'm not familiar because still learning and adjusting to living in Ghana and the different surroundings. But we did meet her in Cape Coast.
Okay, all right, understood. I get that. And so how long have you been there in Ghana? And what's your transition been like coming from the US over to Africa in general?
Okay. First, me and my family are humble warriors that we praise the divine Black Holy Ones, ourselves, our people, and we have always been community activists in the Black community continent, which is one of the original names is Alkebulan. And one of the number one places was Ghana. So we have always learning more about ourselves, learning more about our culture, African history, Black history through Black scholars like Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Yosef Ben Jochannan, and we stayed close to our culture. It's been like that way since growing up with two parents growing up in the Black community in the South, in the U.S., and us growing up. So when it was time to come on the continent, the first place, we learned a lot. We learned a lot about all the different Black nations from Zimbabwe, Tanzania, South Africa, Ethiopia. So we was learning more about the culture. But our main pull was Ghana. The COVID era hit.
Okay.
Where we was able to save enough to come. We always wanted to come on a tour to Ghana, but it just didn't happen that way. As far as Ghana during that time, there was a lot of restrictions during COVID. So one of the tour guides in Ghana, who always go to Ghana throughout the continent and beyond, this tour guide was based in Atlanta, Georgia. So we always stayed in contact with the tours. So this person went to Senegal, did a tour to Senegal and Gambia, and met with a diasporan that started a program there called Made in Africa Project. And they were helping Black descendants come on the continent. And we were interested in that because it's like, okay, this might be an easy way to come on the continent since Ghana's going through some restrictions. We know Senegal's part of the continent, but we really had no really idea.
Sure.
So we know it was a spiritual call to come because it was enough for the U.S. It was way enough for the U.S. We just had fed up the neighborhood that we were actually in Decatur, Georgia, was being gentrified. So Black people were actually being forced out and was like, had enough. So we went through the program with the Made in Africa Project and paid the lifetime membership fee. And when we got there, even within the first few days, we were dissatisfied of how the program went. We really confronted the director of the Made in Africa Project, RJ, and his wife, Aaliyah, really mainly RJ. And it wasn't satisfying. So we moved out of that area and moved to another location in Senegal. And from then on, even before we moved, we met some incredible loved ones that took care of us, protected us, and we had some great times in Senegal. We actually have loved ones still to this day that we still talk to. We also felt that spiritually, we felt our mission that was done there while we were there. We poured libation, we prayed, because that's what we're spiritually called to do. Now it was time to come to Ghana.
So when you say you was dissatisfied, what?
You someone dissatisfied with the Made in Africa Project?
Yeah, you said you was dissatisfied. What caused that dissatisfaction?
You someone dissatisfied with the Made in Africa Project? Okay. The department that we paid a deposit on staff to help us, but at the same time, we feel like we were being very drained of our money. I mean, a lot of our savings, was what we brought with us that was going to help us get established, was actually being drained.
So the house was incomplete, and there was debris. Say the debris was outside of the compound or outside the house itself.
Really, RJ was not there, nor his wife. Most of his staff. What was that again?
Sorry, you said the debris. Was it outside the compound or outside the house?
Outside, it was an apartment building. The apartment was on the first floor. And we got there was debris all over. See, that area was being built with a lot of apartment buildings, but we did not know. We were just shown pictures of the inside, but it was never discussed, this is going to be a developing area or area that's being built up. So you might see a lot of debris. That was never told. Because it also caused health problems, a lot of fumes, a lot of debris. I mean, it was trash. In addition to that, there were brothers, sisters that had their own homes still living there. And, many of them outside. And it was like, what is this? This is not what we even asked him, is he going to help his wife the entire time was in Senegal. We even asked him to assist us. He did not. It was only his staff. And as I said, the first week we had enough of our money going out, and we haven't seen anything. So it felt like we were in a place all alone. And in the meantime, during that, we did meet some loved ones.
sorry, I was going to ask, the $899, what was that for?
Okay. On the website, it was saying that it was for lifetime membership for, I guess, relocation, work opportunities, business opportunities. And it was like a little application, you know, if you don't have, if you want to start a business, they'll help you get the business licenses. Excuse me. If you have relocation, like connecting with the post office and things like that. And it was saying for a lifetime being a member. This was called the Exitus Club. And really, the entire time we were there, we did not meet any other members of this club. None.
Wow.
We met a brother on the street while we were leaving a restaurant. He said that, I think he said he's also from the Atlanta area, but he's also in the club. But we did not meet any other members of this club. Now, when we were fed up with, you know, being really scammed and being fed up of how we were treated, we talked to the shipper, because we actually shipped a personal items from the U.S. to Senegal. He knew a couple that was also part of the program who was from the U.S. We connected with them, and they were saying the same thing. They were living outside of Dakar in another area, but we got to connect with them because we were fed up living in the apartment and really the program overall. So we just said we had enough. So the shipper connected with one of his actually sister, and we lived in Imor at that sister's house and got to know some more people, that some more loved ones that we are still in contact to this day. And, you know, in the midst of all that, as I said, the prayer warriors, we stayed true to who we are, despite being hurt, crying. We also felt like, what did we do? Did we make a mistake? And some of my family members said, no, we did not. This is the failure on them because they failed on their promises. So we got to know the Senegal tour guide, or the tour guide that we knew in Atlanta, because it was time for us to go to Ghana. And we was looking for the embassy, because we even went to the U.S. embassy on everything. They didn't do anything. So we looked for the Ghana embassy in Senegal, couldn't find it. But the Senegal tour guide that we got to know, he was also upset with RJ because he had heard some things about the whole program and saying, you know, y'all really been scammed out of your money. Y'all need to go to police. He was like really insistent. And one time we were getting things ready to come to Ghana. We saw RJ in the street, I think in downtown Dakar, and the tour guide said, let's go get him. We got out the van, and RJ crossed the street. And we were calling him and calling him. He looked back. He didn't say anything. Then there was a brother, a Senegalese brother. Right. You know, this is terrible. So he actually was away from you. Admitting he was running away from us.
He's running away
because we was confronting him that he was running away from us. Because at the time we told him that we left the apartment, we stayed there in Dakar for a month. And the apartment was really not too far from the African Renaissance Monument in the ocean. So we was in that area. And we stayed there a month because it was also too much, you know, it really wasn't livable. And we wanted our deposit back, really nearly our full deposit back. And he's saying because he already stayed 1 month, he only could get a certain amount. But when it was time to pay up the money, he had excuses. We actually went back to the apartment after we had left. He said he was going to meet us there. He didn't. So that's why when we saw him in the street, was going to confront him then about our money, and he did not. He actually just kept going up the street and maybe head off somewhere. So that's when the Senegal tour guide said we had enough. We're going to go straight to the police. And we eventually did. but we did not do a full report because we were focused on coming to Ghana. Because we did a full report, it means it might have taken too long, and we didn't want that to deter us in coming to Ghana. Okay. So he started assisting us.
So just pause right there because it's saying that we're running out of time on the free time on Zoom.
Okay.
So I'm gonna shut off and call you back again.
Okay.
Just for those watching, we've stopped our previous recording. We've restarted a new one. Okay, so about the house. Was the house like painted? Was it plastered and so on and so forth? Was it finished inside?
Okay. The apartment was on the first floor, and the apartment outside didn't look too well maintained. Inside, from the pictures, it looked brand new. When we went in there, it really wasn't appeared to be. In fact, it had no window. No outside windows.
What?
It had a balcony, not a balcony, a porch. I have pictures.
It had no windows.
I have pictures of it, but you couldn't see outside. The outside porch was really walled. It's like you would go outside, you'd be on the back porch. It had no back porch. It was wall.
It was just a wall.
And there really wasn't no windows. You couldn't see outside. And it got very hot.
Of course.
It did air conditioning. So it didn't was off. It didn't look right. And it flooded too, quite a little bit too. So we didn't know all about this. This is supposed to be a brand new apartment complex and paid, a big deposit on. But it was not really livable at all. Even the Senegal tour guide was Senegalese, who was helping us. We went there and said, this place is not finished. So it was really crazy. That's what also had really made it difficult. So that's what we told RJ, we're not doing it anymore. We want our money back. And after that, really didn't want to be bothered anymore with him or the program at all. So when we went to Imor, it was also a different, unique experience. We went through some challenges there, but we met some great people. And it was just overall another experience. One thing we liked about Senegal, it had no shots, no visas. That was one of the reasons too.
Yes.
Because it was easier to get in, unlike Ghana at the time.
Right.
But we feel it was definitely a spiritual call. We don't trade those experiences for anything, no matter how crazy it got, because we put a lot of the fault and issue on that program. As far as Senegal and the culture itself, if we really had to stay there a little bit longer or wanted to, we would have been able to explore it. The language was mostly French. We didn't deal with that. We were telling our people we are not speaking French. Some was teaching us Wolof, but we are definitely not going to speak French. So that was also difficult too, coming from a place where you spoke mostly English. Ghana, even though it has the official language, is English. We Black people speak Ebonics, especially coming from the U.S. So that was one thing about Senegal that was kind of hard. But other than that, and outside the experiences in the program, Senegal was it was a very great place and experience to be in. And like I said, we still have family to this day that we still talk to, that we communicate with.
That's such a pity. The thing with Senegal is that, I've been here for just under a year or so. And it's like, people tell me I should learn French. I don't want to learn French. They taught me French at school. So I knew a little bit. But, school was a long time ago, so I don't remember what that was taught at school. But I wanted to learn Wolof. I wanted to learn the local language. And so, I'm practicing that. That's fine. But I agree with you. I don't want to learn French. And the Arabic greetings they give you, I don't want to learn Arabic either. So, one slave master's rank is enough for me.
As we learn more about our natural selves, added in calling on our loved ones. But when we were there, we were doing exactly that. And none of the brothers and sisters, they might have looked in curiosity, but it wasn't like, you're not supposed to be doing that. even though it was surround sound, Muslim, hear the prayers like early in the morning, overnight, on a loudspeaker. That was a lot. That was also kind of a difficult experience too, because we never been in that place. We know about Muslim and Islam because we were at one point, but not Orthodox Islam. So that was a lot, but they accepted us for who we are. We accepted them who we are because we are a family, period. We are African, we are family. So we had no issues with that, but it was too much, as far as the calling, the loudspeakers, everywhere you look, there was different celebrations that was mostly Muslim. So it was kind of like a little isolated, but at the same time, they didn't isolate us. It's like they invited us. It was more so we were still trying to find our way because we just arrived on.
Yeah, you need time to acclimate when you come here. That's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So from what I remember you saying, the Made in Africa project, it was supposed to be that the money you paid was to help you to get you connected to the post office. I'm assuming things like the light company and so on and so forth, and then help you with
basically
new business.
It was a whole package. It was supposed to be a whole package, truthfully, to help ease getting on the continent. Everything from relocation, housing, everything. And that's what we felt and was under the impression, and we were told that once you get on the continent, they're going to help take care of everything. Before we left, they had found the place, but we put the deposit, but it wasn't there. And it was a lot of broken promises, but we were the only one. As I told you earlier, there was a couple. Then there was a sister that came in with her son a little bit after us. They also fell into the same thing. She actually went to an apartment where it was really dirty. So they have a reputation. They have a reputation.
Wow. Wowee. Okay, the $60 a day for the car. From what I understand, that included that was included in the $8.99 that you paid. Is that correct?
Now, to be honest, that is not sure, because before we left, we asked for an airport pickup, and that's what they started the $60 a day. It was like, why would we have to pay that when we paid $899 and needed two vehicles? As I said, it's a family of 7. So they're saying, because being about an hour away from the airport, need 2 vehicles because it's also, the traffic and outside of town. I was like, okay. But when we got there, everywhere we needed to go, everybody was going, because being new, we wasn't going to leave anybody behind. And it was still $60 US dollars per day per vehicle. So you're talking about almost $120 per day. And sometimes we had to go out several days to get things adjusted, places to go. And I don't think that was part of the package. It was like something separate. The way it was seemed that it was part of the package. And actually, it just really drained us the first few days. That's why we was like, no, something is not right here. There were loved ones that we didn't know. Like one time we were going to the ocean, and there was a brother came. He owned a restaurant. He actually helped feed us. When we were time, we didn't really know how to feed ourselves because the food wasn't agreeing with us. And we met some more loved ones. And when we went to Imor, we met some more loved ones that helped. But other than that, as far as that program, no. It was totally just misleading. And when it was time to get our deposit back, he didn't make that promise to meet with us. So he tried every excuse and tried to put it on I think the Wave app. And we were having issues with that until a loved one in Imor helped us out. As I said, we was not the only one in Senegal at that time in that program. We talked to another couple that lived in another area called Chase, and we met them, and they were trying to get us close there, but it didn't work out either. And that gave some comfort, but at the same time, we knew at some point we would be leaving Senegal.
Sure.
And that's where, when we got to Imor, stayed there for about another month, because that was some hard challenges as well, especially the condition of living. We talked to the Senegal we knew in Atlanta, Georgia, to help us get to Ghana. We said, that's it, we're coming to Ghana.
So we've got a few areas of concern there, right? So first of all, we've got this $899 that was being spent on this club membership, lifetime club membership. Now, to me, I'm thinking club means that, I'm going to be invited to some area. There's going to be some kind of special perks for me as a club member, and I'll be other people I can network with. And they never got that. Never got that at all. So that's not great. That's not a great start. Then they go on to this thing about the car. So the car, $60 per day, sounds about right. Going around the city for $60 per day, so that's like, a driver in his car to take 4 passengers around the city for the day to do whatever they want to do. Sounds about right for Senegal, for Dakar. Having 2 cars doing that sounds pricey. But what she was saying was that they'll go out and do one thing and come back again. So they'll go out to the post office to arrange a PO box or whatever, and then come home. That's not $60 worth of work. You're being charged for the whole day, yes, but that man is not expected to. He's not going to keep $60 of that. That money is going back to the person who set up that contract. So that too is not good. That is not good business at all. Thirdly was this deposit for the house. So, I went on the Facebook. I went on their Facebook page. This is an advert for the Facebook for an apartment in the car, right? And as you can see, it looks very nice. Looks very beautiful. Very clean. And there's windows in the house. There's windows there. These people get there and find there's no windows, no glass in the windows. And there's a porch, but the porch has been bricked up. It's very, very, very shoddy business. Very shoddy business. I'm of the school of under promise and over deliver. That's the school I'm from. And this guy was promising so much. You have a club that you're a part of. We ease you into life on the west coast of Africa. You can get help with finding a job. What job? What job? I mean, people here, they are like a normal wagey person is earning like $70 for the month. It's like what people are earning here. It's no big money. So you're going to leave from the United States of America to earn $70 for the month? It doesn't matter what the job is. You ain't going to want to do it. So it's going to help you find, start up your business. Let me tell you something. Let me give you an idea, all right? If you're going to come to Senegal or Africa in general, don't join no ridiculously expensive club. Don't do that because you will lose your money. As the sister said, they met people. There was a brother they met on the road. There was a brother who had a restaurant who gave them food. Like these people were to the point where they had no food. They weren't eating. And you're part of a club that you paid $899 for. Madness. Don't fall for that. Let your Uncle Marley help you out. Look, Here's what you do. You go online, you go onto a website called Airbnb. We've all heard of Airbnb. You find yourself an Airbnb that suits your budget. In Dakar, the cheapest one I found was $19 per night. You find something that fits your budget. You send, if you've got a family of 7, send one person over, because you don't need 7 people all to be traipsing around Dakar together. You'll lose people. You'll spend too much money. You have to feed 7 people like 3 times a day. It's way too much money. Get one person to go out and do some recce work, right? You do that first. You get yourself an Airbnb. You rent it out for a month. You will find a fellow diasporan. You'll find them because we stand out. We stand out so much. You'll find a man, he's either like me, though. I got a Jamaica t-shirt on. Hey, Jamaican, you're not from here. Talk to me, and you can talk to that brother. Even up the other day, I was up the road, and there was a man who had a Hamptons University sweatshirt on. So I stopped him and asked him if he could speak English. He said he's from Senegal, but he can speak English. And I knew he would, simply because of the outfit he had on. Like, we walk differently. We talk so differently. Generally, day to day, you'll be seeing people, you'll be walking down the city, and you'll be hearing the dialects, African and Arabic dialects going around, and all of a sudden you hear, "Oh, mate, you all right, mate?" And you go, oh, he's from UK, and you talk to him. Or they'll be like, "Nah, I'm saying," and you'll be like, "That guy's from America somewhere," because, nah, I mean, that's American. I'm sorry, my accent's rubbish. I know. I know it's bad, you know what I mean? But you'll find them. They're all over the place. Don't worry about a club. Make your own club. And do it with a set of people where, no one's there looking to try and take something from you. The brother who's got the restaurant, I salute you, brother, because you help those people in need. Those Gambians that they had to ask for help over in Imor. Imor's out in the country. It's far out. It's almost halfway between here and Gambia. It's far out. And they found people there to help them. Meanwhile, the one that's from America takes almost $900 from them for nothing. Takes more money for the deposit for the apartment rental. And when they ask for their money back, he's like, "Well, you've only been there for a month, so I can only give you some back." And then he ducks out and doesn't even give them that money. Then he goes hiding around corners. These are not the people you want to be hanging out with. Get yourself an Airbnb for a month. Day 1, you go out, you walk. You find yourself a nice little cafe, a cafe that you like the look of, right? That you feel comfortable with. You go in that cafe and you hold your interviews there. You hold your interviews there because before you leave United States or England or wherever you're coming from, you put an advert on Facebook. You put the area you want the advert to display in Dakar or in the Gambia. It doesn't matter where we're going. In Nigeria, Lagos. You say where you want to be, put an advert there. You have your advert in writing because you need to know the person can read. You see, the levels of literacy here in Africa is not something that could be taken for granted as it is in the West. Many people are living their life, I've met people who come to me and it's like, "I'm a chef, I've employed him," and then realize he can't read the menu. What kind of chef are you if you can't even read chicken? So come out of the place, isn't it? So have your advert in writing so that you know that the person who's interacting with you can actually read. I will still test them at the interview stage, but that's another story. Have them come and meet you at your at the cafe, right? At the cafe that you're at. Not come to your house. Don't have them come to your house. Have them come to the cafe. And the job you're looking for is a translator assistant. You tell them you want to employ a translator assistant. You're going to need them a few days a week, and you're paying $20 a day. You don't need them every day, obviously. But what it will allow you to do is have someone with you where you can say, okay, look, I need to go and get my residency card. Where do I need to go? Take me there. And a person could take you to that place. And a person could speak on your behalf and say, give my uncle, give my auntie a residency card and do whatever you need to do. Get yourself set up that way. One person, two people, maximum. You don't need to be taking your whole family over. No. Start off like that. Start off small. Get yourself set up. Within that 1 month, you could rent somewhere for long term. You can say to your translator assistant, I need an estate agent. I need someone who can help me rent an apartment, rent a house, whatever you want, whatever suits your budget. In the car, you're going to be paying around about $600 per month. About £550 a month. So it's not the cheapest. It's not as cheap as Gambia, but it's definitely a lot cheaper than it is, in America, for example. So look into that. Book something that you can then call for the rest of your family to come over, and then you can start living your life. If you need to set up a business, I need to set up a laundrette, assistant translator. I need to find a small place where I can set up a laundrette. Have a look around for me, come back and then show me what you found. Okay, boss, they'll go and I'll do that. I'll come back the next day, this is what I found. So you can do that. Pay your translator daily. And secondly, tell them that you'll pay for their lunch every day. So a local lunch is $1. So have in mind that you're going to be paying them $20 a day for their work and $1 a day for their food. Give them their $1 on the day and be like, yo, go have your lunch. We'll meet up later on or whatever. You don't need to have lunch with them because, well, as that sister said, local food doesn't actually agree too well with the Western setup. It's like, I want my fries looking a certain way. I want my chicken cooked a certain way, and so on and so forth. I need rice and spaghetti bolognese and stuff like that. Before you start getting into the chebajin and the yassa pillay and so on and so forth, before you start having the fufu, go with something that you know. Have your own food. Let your staff member go and buy their own food, and you'll be good. You'll be good. And as you walk about your business, you'll meet other people. As you meet the estate agent, say, yo, do you know any other people who are from America or from England or from wherever you're from? Be sure they'll say yes, and they'll be able to introduce you to people. So it's a lot more organic, all right? It's a lot simpler. It's not so difficult that you need to spend $1,000 on someone for you to be a part of a club, so that you can spend thousands of dollars for a house that looks like this thing, and then actually it looks like the haunted house of horrors. You don't need that. Times are changing, people. Times are changing. All right, I think that's everything I've got to say for today. So take care of yourself and those around you. This is your brother Mario. Until next time, you take care. Peace.